Good morning. Well, it is a beautiful sunny morning here in New Zealand. We've been here now for 5 months and it's time we made a decision. So we need to decide if we're going to continue on. Are we going to sail, sell, or ship the boat? Well, we've made a decision, but first I think we're going to have our morning coffee before we talk about it. Ooh, that morning sun is in my eyes.
Beautiful morning.
It really shows my age. Is that Rod Stewart?
Morning sun when it's in your face.
So it's coffee time here on Gargoyle, and as I said, it's time to make a decision. So we are coming up on 6 months in New Zealand, and we want to get to the Med. That has been our destination since May 31st of 2019 when we departed the docks. So we've been turned back twice by COVID from that, and now we find ourselves farther away, and we face a long sail across the Indian Ocean, basically through the Red Sea if we want to get to the Med, at least within a year.
Yeah, so another year.
Another year at least, or we go around the tip of Africa, and that adds 2 years, which none of us are getting any younger, and we have family back home that we don't get to see as much as we'd like to. And we'd sure like to be closer, because right now we're a 24-plus hour flight to get home. Next year will be 36 hours plus if we continue to sail. So we looked at, do we sell the boat and buy a boat in the Med? And when we did the numbers on that, it didn't really make a lot of sense to us, because we've customized Gargoyle to a great extent that we'd have to reapply all of that money to the boat.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, most of the boats in the Med are made for short cruising. They're not made for blue water sailing. So if we were to buy that boat, we'd have to retrofit her again so we could take her back to Canada.
yes. So, I think that leaves us with one option left, which is to ship Gargoyle. So, I say so a lot.
You
so,
do. We went to the Auckland Boat Show, and just by, I don't know, serendipity, we ran into 7-Star Yacht Shipping and had a long conversation with them about whether or not they had a spot for Gargoyle. And the good news is they do. We have to move relatively quickly. We've got like 10 days to get Gargoyle ready to ship. And we were hoping we'd get dropped off in Spain.
We were thinking Ibiza or Majorca, which, I mean, really, who doesn't think Ibiza or Majorca when they own a boat? But they made us a deal if we agreed to get off early, because they would have to unload Gargoyle at an earlier port. And we said, how much of a deal? And then we said, well, hell yes, it's a deal.
So Gargoyle is going to Ireland. She's leaving again very shortly here, and then her crew is going to follow. So we've got lots of work to do in the next 10 days.
I've got to polish up my Jamesons and my Guinness drinking.
Exactly.
So now while we await the Happy Dynamic, which is our ship with 7-Star Yacht Transport, we're going to show you what we've done to get Gargoyle all ready for her 14,000 nautical mile, 40-day passage back across the Pacific, across the timeline, across the equator again, her third trip through the Panama Canal. 4 times she'll have crossed the equator now. And then back up past the Turks and Caicos. And this time she just keeps going for the little hop up to Ireland. So we'll be dropping in Cork, Ireland, approximately 40 days after they lift Gargoyle onto the ship. So let's take a look at our preparations.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's a cool morning here in Auckland.
Windy.
And we're just gonna take a walk downtown to see if our ship is coming.
Let's do it.
All right. It's quiet here in our part of town, but soon we'll be downtown. And it'll be crazy.
And why is it crazy downtown?
Because it's Monday.
And because?
It's a work day.
And because?
People are there.
And where do the people come from?
Oh, the ferries.
And?
Trains.
And?
The buses.
Where do the great big groups of people come from that wander like sheep lost in a meadow?
Oh, cruise ships.
Cruise ships. Yeah.
But it's nice and quiet here. Team Emirates, the New Zealand sail team, is right here. And every once in a while, we get to see the foiler.
These guys are working.
But she's not out today.
Morning.
Morning. Happy New Zealand workers. New Zealand Angry Birds. All right, we're at Viaduct Harbor. We're gonna head into the masses. Masses and masses and masses of people.
That's right.
It's getting busier already.
It is. Janice is gone.
Yes.
I guess she's not going on the transport.
We think this ship over here is going on the transport with us. She's called Como.
What's his name?
But we'll see.
Part of what? Carlos Santana's song. Como? Stop. Como. What? Janice is gone. She sailed.
Janice is gone? Or she's up here.
No, she's still out here.
Really nice sailboats out
She's
here.
too big to be out here.
Really nice big sailboats out here.
Should stay captain.
We are coming up to the, here we go, busy downtown Auckland. We are coming up to the ferry building and the cargo docks, so we'll see if our boat is here yet. Our ship's in!
Our ship is about to sail.
I think tomorrow's the big day, but we'll wait to hear from our yacht guys. Woohoo! Okay, the ship is cool, but this mast is huge. There's a super yacht somewhere just calling out its name.
Hello, it is Friday afternoon, and our transport ship, the Happy Dynamic from 7-Star Yacht Transport, arrived here in Auckland on Monday. We are now scheduled to load tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., and we've been busy this week preparing Gargoyle to be shipped across the Pacific Ocean again, and then across the Atlantic to Cork, Ireland. Now, there's a difference between sailing across an ocean and having your boat put on a yacht transport. Completely different set of stresses on the boat and vibrations, and the boat will also be moving at a continuous 16 knots as it goes into the wind at times. So what we'd like to do today is show you exactly what we've done from bow to stern to prepare Gargoyle for shipping. So let's go take a look. So in preparation, we've dropped our canvas. So we've taken our genoa down. We've then put it down in our sail locker, secured the sail locker. We've taken and secured our furler up front so that our pivot is down and tied off and tight so it doesn't bang around. We've secured our anchor for shipping. And then we've also taken out all of our filters, which are down in the sail locker from our water maker. So we have no filters in there. And the water maker has been pickled, so it's ready for storage because we'll be at sea for 40 days. We've then brought all of our lines and spare halyards forward to get them out of the way. So you see those tied off here. We've gone in and we've taped turnbuckles. So you can see attachments here and other turnbuckles on the boat, because while we're being hauled on the transport, there'll be a vibration from the engines on the ship running constantly, and that can work those turnbuckles loose. So we wanted to make sure that anything that could come loose was tightly secured. Here at midship, if we look up at the mast and the boom, we've left our furling mainsail furled. We didn't take that off because we don't want the foil banging around inside the mast. But what we've done is we've then secured it back to the mast through the clew, so that if for some strange reason it comes unlocked, it'll be secured to the mast as well. Then we've also taped shut the locking mechanism on the furler. That way it'll keep it from vibrating open. Don't expect that to happen, but just want to be safe. You will notice that on the boom, we have a line coming down from the attachment point that we usually use for our boom brake. Now this line is used to hold the boom in place, so that if for some reason main sheet fails, for example, the boom doesn't start to swing back and forth on the transport. We've heard stories of doors on super yachts, for example, that come unlatched, and the crew watches for 40 days as those doors slam back and forth as the ship rolls. We don't want that happening to our boom, so we've got it secured down nicely with this line leading to these cleats. Here in the cockpit, you won't notice a lot of things that have been done yet, because we still have to do those once we get over to the ship for loading. But we will be taping down all of our instrument covers. We'll be pulling our remote VHF handset and bringing it inside and securing the wheel. What we have done is we've secured our winch covers down using zip ties to hold them in place. We just want to make sure we don't get any water inside those. And why would we get more water on those? Well, you'll notice I'm standing underneath the skies here. We've taken down all of our canvas that typically covers it, so we have a very large bimini and then also a connector that connects it to our arch that gives us complete coverage. We've pulled all that canvas, treated it, it's stowed down below, and then we've also taken the stainless steel enclosure supports, folded all of those back, and then we've taped and secured those with zip straps as well. Finally, just as we would in a normal passage, we've secured the dinghy davits to the arch with zip straps to keep them from vibrating. We do have our outboard secured and locked aboard, so she's good to go. You may notice our solar panels are still up, so we did consult with First Yachts back in Vancouver, who does all of our tech support while we're at sea, and did the installation for these. Their recommendation was to actually just leave them up. We've sailed through the tail end of hurricanes. She sat right here in this spot during Cyclone Gabrielle here in Auckland, and we've seen winds in excess of 50 knots on numerous occasions with no issues whatsoever. The concern was, do we really want to take them down when there's a lot of sharp edges and they're very large, and then try to find a place to store them where they won't do damage inside the boat? Or are they better just staying up on top? So we're going to leave the solar panels up, but we will turn off our solar controller downstairs. You'll notice that we've also got the cover for our backstay here is loose and off. So one of the things that we need to do is we'll need to loosen this. So we've got to pull these pins out. We'll make sure we mark the position. And then we need to loosen this up so that when they put the slings on and the crane hauls us up, that the stay is loose, so there's some give to it, because it does come very close to the mast up at the top. And that's one of the things they've asked us to do. We may actually even need to take it off. Along with the backstay needing to be loosened, we've also removed our topping lift. So now our rod kicker is holding up our boom, and we've taken and we've moved the topping lift forward. So she's at one of the pad eyes that are at midships.
Similar to getting Gargoyle ready on the outside, we need to get her ready on the inside. As you all know, when you're on passage and you're lying in your berth, you can always hear something clanking back and forth. Unfortunately, for 40 days, we're not going to be on board, so we want to make sure that everything is secure and we're able to keep everything tucked away. So as you notice, we've taped down all of our hatches to make sure they don't pop open. The vibration from the ship will definitely cause some things to spring free, so we want to make sure everything stays stowed. As Kevin mentioned, our water maker's pickled underneath here, and if you take a look in the bathroom, you'll notice that the shower door and a few other things are also taped down, just to make sure that they stay secure through the passage. In the main salon, same thing, everything is going to be taped down and secured. And just looking into our galley, we've also taped the fridge door shut and the oven door shut, just to make sure, again, all of that jingling back and forth on the boat. And we've got our swinging stove. All the blinds are going to be closed. We're going across the South Pacific, so it's going to be hot and tropical. So we're going to try to keep it as cool in here as possible. And we're going to be locking all the hatches, just making sure that they don't come open when we're on passage to keep her nice and dry. Inside, just to make sure everything is good and tight, we put some bubble wrap, especially around our china and some of our glassware, just to make sure. And then we're going to make sure that we put some bubble wrap just against this main pipe here, so that nothing else gets broken or anything else during the journey. So today we're going to do the final taping and make sure everything's secure, and then we're going to head to the Giddy Hotel. New Zealand Angie Bert.
Are you going to tape her to the table?
We're going to tape you to the table and leave you with a big bag of food.
So right now our hydraulic bang is holding it up. We've secured down our winch covers, and you'll see that we've used zip ties.
Zip ties? We're still oogling this mast. There's a super yacht out there somewhere that's calling its name.